Hi, it's Sandy Parker and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to save your plates that you use for cutting in your die cutter. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, you know the deal. We have these plates, they get beat to heck and cut all up and there's no redeeming them. They get warped. And really for me, the problem is the cutting, and it was really starting to get to me. I did see online where someone had made one out of one of these sewing mats that you use that are, it allows you to cut with it. I found this one at Hobby Lobby. It's from Sew-ology quilting, and it wasn't much bigger than this. It was maybe about this much bigger. And so what Rich did was he took his knife, and I would recommend a craft knife, and he laid it up against this one. He drew a line on it, and he just kept doing this with his knife until he could make it so that it looked like there was a good groove. Then he flipped it over. It did a couple times on this side, and then it just basically cracked, and that was all he needed. Well, I ran it through my die cutter and it isn't quite thick enough. So I have these cutting mats that you get at the Dollar Tree, and I wondered if I could make this into my shim, and that way it also won't have issues because it's made for cutting. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking my Tim Holtz scissors, not any kind of special tools. I'm just going to use my Tim Holtz regular scissors. All I did, again, was I put my plate up to it, and I took a pencil, and I just drew the outline of it. That's it. Nothing high-tech there. And I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter on this side than my mark because I don't want it to be too wide. Too wide? Yeah, too wide. I'm going to just cut off this edge too because I don't need it all the way. So then this I can use for any other crafty project, but in the meantime, this gives me enough of a base. Look how perfectly that fit on top of that. Let's cut it and see if it works. I also, what I used, I don't know if you can see the marks on it, but what I used on this, I'm going to glue this underneath so that it's permanently attached, but I'm going to put it underneath. Anyway, I'm doing this on a mirror paper that I know is really hard to cut normally, and so that ought to be a good test. And I'm going to line these back up where I already had them, and I have newer plates that I decided to use before I came up with the idea of fixing my plate so it would work. Let me run it through. I have a Vagabond. It's an electric die cutting machine made by Tim Holtz. It looks just like a suitcase, in case you wondered. And okay, let's see how we did. Pretty good. I'm not sure, maybe I need a little bit more. Again, these are not this is tough paper to cut through. It did cut through it. I don't know if all these little pieces will pop out. But I just saw a video where Lindsay the Frugal Crafter made earrings, excuse me, out of dies. And I thought this would be kind of cool to do that with. Well, that one didn't do very good. Let's see if these come out. But the reason I was thinking about leaving these as is if I can't punch the little holes out, at least I would be able to make them into, I could double side them and make them into earrings if I wanted to. We'll give it a shot. You never know. It could work. It could be just because, I don't know if you can see the thickness of this paper, but it's very thick. Let me run the other side through and we'll see how we do with a second run through. I ran it through a second time, and what I decided was, although the second time it cut better, I decided it needed a second shim. So I cut the other part of the cutting mat And look how well it cut this time. I mean, that is some serious, all I have to do, I was going to say, all I have to do is pick these up and the insides will fall right out. So that's really going to be fun. And I am going to make these into little earrings because I think that'll be really frisky. And because I cut it so well, look how nice. I don't even have to work at it. I don't want to hurt these. I don't have to work at it at all to get any of these little pieces out. They're all just coming out smooth as anything. I just pop them a little bit and they're all coming out. So let me show you real fast how you want to do this, because I want to make sure everybody's on the same page with how you put this into your die cutting machine. Now, all these little pieces would be great embellishment, especially these little round ones and these little hexagon shaped ones and the little teardrop ones. So I'm going to scrape those off and put those into a baggie. Now, I know some of you are going to ask me where I got the dies, and I got them as a gift from one of my friends. If I had to guess, I would say she probably bought them from AliExpress because she's a big AliExpress shopper, but I don't know that for a fact. And since it was a Christmas gift, I can't really ask. Well, I could, but it just seems like it would be wrong. Okay, so let me show you how you're going to put your sandwich together. Here's what you're going to do. This piece, as I said, came from Hobby Lobby. It was a little bit over $3, so it's very inexpensive. These are, you're going to have one cutting mat. I think they come in sets of 2, though, from the Dollar Tree. And you're going to cut it so that it is a little bit smaller. You just don't want it to be bigger than your plate. When you put your sandwich together, here's how you're going to do it. You're going to put, well, I'm going to attach these to the bottom. I'm going to use some glue of some kind and adhere these right to my plate so that they're permanently attached to it. You with me on that? Okay, then I'm going to put it in upside down because I want it to make sure that those are underneath and that this is on top. Okay, then I'm going to use this as my top plate. If you always put your dies in face down, if you put it in so that your cutting edges are facing down like that. This paper, by the way, is from Crafter's Companion. You buy it. I buy mine on hsn.com, and it's called, I think, their luxury color cardstock. It comes in silver and gold. It comes in a bunch of different colors, but I bought the silver and gold, and I bought red and green at Christmas. But anyway, it's a very, very good, high quality. Not only is it a matte mirror, there's a regular mirror, and then there's the glitter paper that has glitter on it, that the glitter doesn't come off. Okay, then I have a magnetic platform, and if you ever use anything with dies, you know that these things are great for holding things in place. It also sometimes moves things, like right there. I don't know if you noticed that, but as soon as I put it down, it didn't like where it was placed, so it decided to move. So if you have that happen, I always, before I put it in my machine, I always make sure that everything is where I want it to be and that it's not shifted so that it's in the cut area. So that's what your plate is going to look like. You're going to have your, on the bottom, you're going to have your big, thick, whatever you call yours, mine's magnetic platform. Then the first layer is going to be your sewing mat with your 2 Dollar Tree shims stuck to it. Then your paper, see these moved. Then your die, and then your top plate. If you always have your dies face down, like mine are, so that the cutting edge is pointing down, you'll never ruin this plate. You might warp it, but what I would do with this plate is I would flip it over every like every couple of times so that it stays flat. And even though mine are really beat up, I'll show you mine. these are the ones that I've been using for a long time. I don't really think they're that warped. They're cut all to heck, but they're not warped much. There's a little bit of a warp in there. And a lot of people I've seen, theirs are warped really badly. But anyway, I'm just showing you. That's what I'd recommend. And I hope that you give this a try, because it should save you, ultimately, it should save you quite a bit of money, because you're never going to have to replace, theoretically, you're never going to have to replace your plates again. I taped together with tear tape one of the plates, well, one of these. And what I realized is that little bit of tape that I put in there, I put 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, can you see those? To hold this onto my cutting mat. And what I found by doing that is that was enough, and I didn't need the second shim. So if you're doing this, or you're thinking about doing it, this is what I used before I added the shim. This is my results. And then after I put the shims in, they cut really, really well. So that made it even easier for you. I hope that it works that way for you. If it doesn't, if yours still doesn't cut well enough, then I would add another piece like this one. And this is tear tape. I just tear taped it on. I think I'm going to use these in an upcoming video where I'm going to make some earrings out of them. And I hope you'll watch that. With all of that being said, I had fun doing this. I'm excited I won't have to buy any more of my cutting mats or cutting plates, and I hope you'll give it a try. Give this a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.